Aloha everyone and welcome to Skincare with Hiram. You guys asked, Mama delivers. I am delivered! You guys seem to be loving these Reddit reaction videos, and honestly, I love reacting to them. Even though I get very mad, upset, triggered, heated, bothered, upset, etc, etc. You know, even though it's dysregulating, my trauma is your entertainment. That's what I'm here for, baby. And we are going into round 3 of reacting to Am I the Asshole Reddit posts. I know a lot of you guys love these. I definitely do too. But if you're new here, these are stories that people on Reddit post posing the question, am I the asshole? And you know what? I am always surprised to see just how many people are actually assholes. So without further ado, let's react to some more. But per usual, I want to hear what your guys' opinions are. So leave a comment down below letting me know if you agree or disagree with my takes. Am I the asshole for getting mad at them using my skincare products and medication? Ooh. Medication. Somebody was popping their perks. Pills are good. So I'm currently living with my partner and 2 friends. My 2 friends are a couple and they've been staying with us during lockdown. Wow. This is an old post. As it's close to their work and they both live with elderly parents they didn't want to put at risk. Good for them. I have terrible skin. I've always suffered with acne and redness, so about 6 months ago, I went to the dermatologist and got tablets for it, prescription creams, and also recommendations for skin products. I found one particular mask that is expensive, around $40+. Yeah, that's pricey for a mask. And hard to find, which I absolutely love, but I have to use it sparingly as it is expensive. My female friend was complaining a while ago about her skin going bad due to stress at work, so I let her use my face mask. Ooh. That is where so many of these stories goes wrong. Somebody out of the goodness of their heart offers for someone else to use their sacred skincare products, and then people don't know how to respect boundaries after that. I feel like that's where this is going. She loved it and said she was going to order one. A couple of days later, I go to use it and noticed a big scoop had gone out of it. I asked everyone who used it and nobody would admit it. The same day, I went to take my medication and noticed that day's tablet had gone. Interesting. I wonder what medication. Was it like steroid cream or like Addy pills? Like what? I asked again who had taken it and nobody owned up. I put my face mask and medication in my room in the drawer so I could make sure nobody would use it. Period. I went out grocery shopping around 5 days ago, and when I got back, 2 of my friends were sat on the sofa watching TV, both with face masks on. I asked her if hers had arrived, and she said, "Oh no, I just used yours, but you can use mine when I order one." Okay, girly. When I checked mine, there was only one, maybe enough left for one more use. I explained to them that it's expensive and I don't want them using it yet, but they just brushed it off. It's always the problem. People don't respect boundaries, and then once they get called out on it, they're like, why are you upset? Why are you mad at me for stealing your stuff? Sounds like a personal problem. Later that evening, my boyfriend came to me and told me he had spoken to the male friend, and he said his girlfriend has been taking my skin tablets and using my products without telling me, and she had been really upset over her skin. My friend had like one spot. I went mad because not only was she taking my medication, which isn't cheap, but also it's dangerous for her to take something not prescribed for her. Exactly. That's always something that kind of blows my mind about like any type of medication that someone is taking that has been prescribed. It's just, there's a lot of risks associated with it. It's dangerous. That's one of the biggest reasons a doctor exists, or these medications are prescribed in the first place, so that the doctor or dermatologist can vet out all the possible ways in which you could have a really dangerous or lethal reaction to something. So, and if something bad happened, guess who would be in trouble? The OP. Whatever her name is. My friend is in a mood with me now because she said I can use any of her stuff and it's just stuff, but to me it's more like she didn't ask. Plus it's not cheap, and also it's my medication for my skin. And her taking a few tablets for a week won't make any difference to her one spot. I just think it's ridiculous, but I also don't want to make this living situation awkward, as we have been good friends for around 7 years now. Am I the asshole for getting mad over it? I'm just going to say absolutely not. I feel like it just comes down to consent, because even though you've been living together for so long, you've been really good friends for a very long time, it doesn't excuse someone taking and using your things without asking. I feel like that is a constant that should forever be present in any relationship dynamic, especially when it comes to anything medicinal, and especially if it's prescription. Like, I feel like it shouldn't take a lot of brain cells to compute that, like, out of all the things you could use or borrow, that's probably not one of them, because it's literally prescribed for her precisely exact medical condition. And like I was saying before, there's a big liability on her for someone else to use her prescribed medication without her knowing or permission. And you know, I get it when you've been friends for someone for a long time, or even when you've been roommates with someone for a long time, what's mine does start to become yours in a lot of ways. But at the same time, like if someone tells you that they're bothered by you using their stuff or not asking permission, you should always move forward with respect towards their boundaries. And it just seems like that's the biggest issue here. She's not respecting her boundaries that she pretty clearly set up, and then is now mad at her for getting mad at her for using her shit. It just, it doesn't make sense. And I can already hear the friend being like, oh my gosh, she's being so dramatic. She's overreacting. And chances are, if you find yourself saying those things in a conflict or argument, you're probably the problem. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it is that deep. And if someone is genuinely upset over something, you should never discount or disrespect their feelings or concerns or boundaries. And this friend did all that. Do I believe that you guys should have like a friendship breakup over this? No, but if she's not respecting this boundary and is not apologizing for it, it does make me wonder how many other facets and areas of your life she is overstepping as well. You know, usually these things aren't isolated incidents, especially if you feel the need to come to the internet and vent about it and ask other people if you're in the wrong, then there's probably a lot of stuff that led up to this moment. But that's just pure speculation, you know, only my conjecture. At the end of the day, no, you're not the asshole. Am I the asshole for dropping out of a wedding after being told to cover up some scars and a skin condition? Oh man. If there's one thing that gets me extra heated and just pissed at humanity, it's how people behave during their weddings. Oh my gosh. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! People lose all logic and reasoning when it comes to weddings, so I cannot wait to react to this one. Hello, I'm a female 21, and the skin condition in question is vitiligo. And despite it now covering more than half of my body, I've come to accept it. I also have a pretty distinct scar on my cheek and another one the entire length of my arm. They're not really nice looking, but it's whatever. I don't cover any of that up. I'm happy with how I look, and I don't want to hide a part of me. I love to see that, as you should. Literally, what can you do about it except embrace yourself? I'm already on the original poster side. But that brings me to the wedding party in question. My cousin Dan, 27, is marrying Laura, 26, in May. I've befriended her through Dan, and she was always nice and didn't make a fuss about how I look. That said, when she asked me to be her bridesmaid and I accepted, she asked me if I could cover the scars up. The fucking audacity of people. Let me save my thoughts because I'm already ready to vent. I explained that I can't do that for said reasons, to which she basically told me to figure something out and that she doesn't want me taking the attention away. Okay, I can't hold back. Why do people have to reveal the most horrific parts of themselves on what's supposed to be the happiest, most amazing day of their life? Like, I swear to God, the entitlement that so many brides or groom will have when it comes to controlling people and telling them what to do or what not to do on their wedding day is absolutely abhorrent. I have found so many horror stories of just people asking ridiculous things of anyone involved in the wedding. Case in point. I mean, honestly, the poster is better than me, because had that have been said to me when she first extended the invitation to be a bridesmaid, I would have been extremely offended and I probably would have dropped out then. Because what do you mean you want me to be a part of your most special day, but you want me to completely conceal myself and feel ashamed of the scars that I have on my body? Like, what? Like, at that point, I would just be wondering, do you want me for your wedding, or do you want me to only add to the aesthetic of your wedding, and if I don't fit within that, then I'm kicked out, you know? And then the icing on the piece of shit cake that this is, her saying that she doesn't want attention to be taken away from her, screams insecurity. Because what do you mean, you as the bride on your most special day where every single person will be there for you, and you're still worried that people are not going to be paying attention to you? Like, girl, get a fucking grip. Oh my God. And think about how your words would be internalized. Like, if someone was telling me that, I would just feel so insecure, so aware of it. I wouldn't even want to be a bridesmaid, not only because I'd be pissed off, but also just because I would feel so self-conscious that my scars and my vitiligo would be on full display, you know? Like, think about how that makes her feel. Ugh, sorry, it's still not over. Ugh. I told her everyone attending already knows me, so I don't know what's wrong. Laura still demanded I figure something out. So I did the simplest thing I could do to appease her. I can't steal her thunder when I'm not at the party. I still intended to come as a guest, but in a normal dress. Good for you, girl. Laura still told me to cover up even as a guest. I told her no, which she didn't take well. So now I'm not attending at all. Fuck her. Screw Laura. Like, how fucking dare you? Again, like, I see this type of behavior so often when it comes to weddings. I really don't know what it is. And that's honestly like one of the big reasons I am so not a wedding person. Not only do I feel like it's a huge waste of money and the wedding industry is actually quite predatory and takes advantage of a lot of people, but there's also like this underbelly of narcissism that fuels a lot of weddings, to the point to where I'm like, okay, girl, like, do you even want to get married, or do you just want a really pretty wedding? Because kind of seems like that. And I could never imagine spending what is supposed to be the happiest day of my life degrading people in that way and uninviting people from my wedding for just existing in a body that the world is already very unkind to in the first place. Dan told Laura to let it go and kind of tried to calm her down, and most people relatively agreed with me, but I also had people tell me to swallow my pride for a day. Well, it sounds like whoever this Laura girl is probably really used to people justifying a lot of her shitty behaviors by people in her life trying to make excuses for her like this. I don't know. This is a situation where I would definitely say, okay, bye-bye to that friendship. Nighty-night. That needs to end now. I know Dan is your cousin or whatever, but y'all can be cousins from a distance. That's pretty unforgivable territory for me, especially knowing like how long it probably took her to build the confidence and self-assuredness that she shouldn't be ashamed of her vitiligo or her scars. Like, I just can't imagine like how much insecurity she had to work to get past, only to have someone that is very close to her in her life shame her for that, to the point of disinviting her from her own wedding. Absolute insanity. So disgusting. You are definitely not the asshole. And please, I mean, there's not an update, but I really hope you left that friendship in the dust, because that is genuinely awful. I would show up in a thong and pasties and tell every single person there that I was disinvited because of my vitiligo and scars. And then triumphantly walk out of the wedding and maybe, you know, steal a few wedding gifts while I'm at it. I don't know though. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this one, because for me, this is like so non-negotiable in a friendship and definitely worthy of a friendship breakup. Oh my God, I gotta stop yapping. I'm only 2 stories in. Gotta speed things up. Am I the asshole for giving skincare to my 13-year-old niece? So long story short, I'm a 27-year-old woman with a niece who is now 13 years old. For her birthday, I went to the Korean skincare store. I wish I had an aunt like you. Oh my God. You seem like the best aunt ever. If I was 13 years old, I would have lost my shit. I went to the Korean skincare store and got her a little care package with fun bubbling or animal face masks, night cream, mist, a little serum in a cool looking bottle, a cleanser, and a sunscreen. Okay, so you know, pretty much the basics. And it seems to be like catered for a younger person. It's probably like Tony Moly, I'm guessing. They tend to do like skincare products that honestly don't really have great formulas, but they're very like oriented for kids or tweens, people who are just getting into skincare. My sister got mad at me and said I was pressuring her to conform to beauty standards. She said that the animal mask and cute bottles are fun, but the inclusion of night cream and sunscreen could make her daughter already feel pressure not to age at 13. I see it as a fun way of ensuring good skin habits at an early age, considering most start their routines way too young, and I see it as a cute girly gift that she might enjoy, but my sister says 13 years old is too young and she shouldn't be worrying about aging. Am I the asshole? Okay, I mean, I feel like this is a classic example of two people who have very different approaches and philosophies to why you should use skincare. On the one hand, the poster seems to understand that skincare is an important aspect of, you know, like self-care, wearing sunscreen, using moisturizers is a great way of taking care of the health of your skin. While it seems that the sister feels like skincare products and beauty products are only made to make you conform to beauty standards and make you hyper aware and fearful of aging, which, you know, isn't completely wrong. Those are elements, but that's not really like the underlying reason or motivation. And I personally don't think that the poster is an asshole. The reason why 13 years old, I feel like, is definitely an age where you're very much aware of things like, beauty standards and the pressures that are uniquely put on women to look beautiful and not age. Not that I'm saying that's right. I absolutely do not believe that's right at all. But let's be honest, I'm sure this 13-year-old doesn't live underneath a rock, and if she's able to use social media, or hell, even just talk to her friends, I am positive she's already very aware of all of those things, because unfortunately, the fear of aging, the obsession with appearances and beauty is already woven into the underbelly of our society, where from a very young age, we are hyper aware of those things, whether or not we're immediately subscribing to them or not, by doing things like skincare routines, by watching beauty videos and looking at magazines. I feel like with the way our society is structured, those messages are already imprinted onto us at a much younger age than 13 years old. And actually, 13 years old is a good time to start skincare, because that's typically when a lot of people start to experience breakouts, pimples, and acne, or just start seeing skin concerns. Not to even mention that sunscreen should be something that they were using a lot earlier than 13 years old. And you know what? I totally understand why the mom wants to shield her daughter as much as possible from things like toxic beauty standards and feeling like you need to make yourself look pretty by using products. I definitely don't think that anyone should have to receive those messages. But unfortunately, that's just kind of inevitable. Unless you're completely removed from society, those messages are going to be imprinted on us anyway. So I definitely think that the best way to go about it is, raise your kids in a way where they can understand the difference between using skincare products to maintain their health and feel more confident versus feeling like they need to use those products to adhere to an impossible beauty standard. I think the younger you can teach those messages, the better they will be set up for the future. And truthfully, I think this mom might be a little bit naive to the reality that her daughter is very much growing up and is probably already a victim of the toxic messaging that is put on women when it comes to the way that they feel about aging and the way that they feel about how they look. And I doubt that gifting a skincare kit like this will really do anything significant. With how quickly kids are growing up these days, especially with the drunk elephant kids, 13 years old is really late. Am I the asshole for knowingly bleaching my friend's skin? Yeah, girly, I think you might be. That's the most insane title I've ever read. What the hell? I, 23 female, have suffered from severe hyperpigmentation my entire life. I'm a woman of color, so after things like acne flare-ups or a sunburn, I'm left with severe dark spots and pigmentation for months. About 6 months ago, I decided I was fed up and began looking for more intensive treatments to tackle the issue. I found a treatment that was pharmacy medicine, meaning you needed to go into the pharmacy to ask for it first. It worked wonders. Yay! You know what? Sometimes you just need that prescription help. My skin is a lot more even and smoother because the cream also exfoliates the skin too. The issue arose when my friend, 23 female, asked what I used and I told her. She is also a woman of color and is a lot darker than I am and suffers from the same level of hyperpigmentation. Well, she went in and got it, and I've heard nothing but good things on the product and the difference it's made in her skin. That's great. Then after 3 months, radio silence. I assumed that maybe she stopped speaking about it because the treatment worked and she decided she didn't need it anymore. I was wrong. She called me the other night and confronted me on being colorist and bleaching her skin. She said that what I gave her was essentially a skin bleaching cream. Okay. I'm calling it right now. The ingredient is going to be hydroquinone. The key ingredient is hydroquinone. There we go. Called it, which is found in a lot of skin lightening creams. She said I was the reason her skin had gotten lighter, and that's how I planned it. That it was so hard for her to come and love her dark skin, and that I ruined everything. Wow. This is a tricky one. And whilst I agreed that the ingredient is often used in illegal skin bleaching creams, this one is a pharmacy medicine and it's a safe formula. And on top of that, it is only supposed to be dabbed on the hyperpigmentation spots, not rubbed into the entire face. I'm glad she said that because that was going to be one of the main things that I brought up. She told me that I misled her by not informing her about the ingredient and the instructions, but I didn't think it was my job to tell her to do research and look on the leaflet of how to apply the cream. I asked a couple of mutual friends and they seemed divided. They said that because I have medical training, I'm a recently graduated pharmacist. Okay, I am putting a little bit a little bit more of the blame on you. That does kind of surprise me that she wouldn't bring that up. But at the same time, her friend, literally had to go to a pharmacist to get it. So they should have walked her through those things regardless. I should have told her and warned her about the cream. But in terms of what the pharmacy did when they asked me about the cream, such as, is this for you? Is the problem hyperpigmentation? Okay, use for no longer than this amount of time. I said all that to her. Others are saying she should have done her due diligence. So, am I the asshole? Whew, man, this is a really complicated topic, and I just want to preface it by saying that, I will never be able to understand the unique challenges that come alongside being a woman of color or having a darker skin tone, the constant societal pressures that constantly compare these women against Eurocentric beauty standards, and of course, the widespread culture of skin bleaching creams, which I will say, in the US isn't quite as common, but let me tell you, so many countries I have traveled to, skin bleaching creams are all the rage, and a lot of places that I've been to, they actually represent like the majority of skincare products that you will find. It's a really big issue, and I really feel bad for her friend, especially with what she was saying about how she's worked so hard to appreciate her skin tone and really love her dark skin. But at the end of the day, I do think this kind of comes down to like science and application. The ingredient that is primarily used in this skin bleaching cream is hydroquinone. Now, hydroquinone does have skin bleaching properties, but it's only used at specific percentages and meant for more so targeted spot use on any areas that are experiencing an excess of melanin or darkness that creates, that hyperpigmentation appearance. Now, I'm not sure which country this poster is from, but I will say that at least here in the US, there are percentage limitations as to how much hydroquinone can be used in an over-the-counter product or even a prescribed product. I believe over-the-counter is like 2%. Let me check. Oh yeah, so over-the-counter is 2%, but they do go up to 5% for prescription formulas. Now, does this have skin bleaching properties? Obviously, that's one of the reasons that it really works to brighten specific dark spots. But I will say that a lot of skin bleaching creams do not adhere to either FDA rules or international standards for cosmetic brands that are really big, like the L'Oreal's, the Aveeno's. From what I have seen, the majority of like skin bleaching creams, especially ones that are promoted and used by people with really dark skin tones, have a way higher concentration of hydroquinone, which is why there is such a stark difference in their skin, and there is that bleaching effect that truthfully you wouldn't really see in an over-the-counter product or even a prescription product, likely for what she's using. So I do want to shout that out, right? Because that's one of the reasons why skin bleaching creams oftentimes are so dangerous, because they're using just crazy high concentration of these skin bleaching ingredients that are really only meant to be used at much lower concentrations. But secondly, like what the poster was saying, hydroquinone skin bleaching treatments are only really supposed to be used on specific spots or areas where you're really struggling with an excess of pigment. By using it all over your face, depending on, like how often she's using it, what other products she's combining it with, and for how long she's using this formula, she could notice some skin lightening, over time. Now, I don't believe it would be on the same level as a lot of these sketchy skin bleaching creams, but technically, yes, if you used it enough and for a long enough time, and because everyone's skin is different and some people will see a much more lightening effect from something like hydroquinone versus somebody else. So it really depends on the individual person, how often they use it, and what their instructions were on how long and how frequently they should use it, which is where I really agree with the poster that the pharmacy should have been really clear and answered questions and given precise instructions and really walked through what the benefits and side effects of this ingredient are. So you do need to take a lot of initiative to ask these types of questions prior to using these, which I believe goes for any type of prescription out there, whether it be pills or a skincare ingredient. You really got to be aggressive and take initiative by asking those questions. So I kind of see both sides, but at the end of the day, I don't think the poster is the asshole. I don't think that her recommending this medicine to her friend was rooted in colorism or anti-blackness, but more so just what she personally used to help with her dark spots and out of a genuine recommendation. I do feel like the pharmacist kind of dropped the ball on this one, and it also is important to really do your own research when it comes to any type of product or ingredient out there. That is why it is so important to never use a product just because your friend or family member said it's amazing. You have to do your own research. But at the same time, I think hydroquinone is being misrepresented, and definitely the intended purpose of what this prescription was for does not seem to represent any type of skin bleaching effect or colorism. But it's tricky. I feel really bad for both of them, but especially the girl who, feels like she lost her confidence in her skin tone and, her appreciation for her darker skin. I can only imagine how much work it takes to get to that point, and I hope that in the aftermath of this, she is able to forgive her friend and, re-embrace her skin tone in a way where she can, also use beneficial skincare ingredients to target any of her concerns. So I think there is a happy medium here, but again, I am not a woman of color. I will never be able to understand the unique perspectives and, mentality when it comes to colorism, skin bleaching, all that kind of stuff. So if you have any more input or advice on that, please comment it down below because I would love to hear from you guys. Okay, I've been rambling so much and it's already 1:30 a.m. so I'm gonna wrap it up with one more story. Sorry guys, I didn't expect so much of this video to be venting, but if you want more stories, definitely go check out my previous videos. I will link them down below if you want to check them out because some of the stories are wild. Okay, let's see the last one. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason no job will hire her and not sexism? Do people not read these titles? I swear to God, some of these titles are so unhinged and I'm like, we couldn't have come to our own conclusion? That is harsh as fuck. Let's see what they say. This concerns my sister Lily, who is graduating soon. Our parents taught us the importance of personal hygiene and keeping yourself presentable, but I guess Lily fell off the wagon while dorming. Sorry. That is a crazy way of putting it. Okay. But I guess Lily fell off the wagon while dorming in college because it feels like she dropped everything to do with personal hygiene since moving back home. It's easier to explain with the list of things she isn't taking care of. Hair. Very oily / greasy and always tangled from a lack of washing and brushing. Skin. Also very oily, greasy from no wash. Okay, this is laid out like an Excel sheet, like a fucking dissertation. How closely are you analyzing your sister's personal hygiene levels? This seems a little bit over the top. I don't know. Nails, never trimmed so they're long and yellow from grime. I will say that's a huge turnoff for me. If I see a guy with big ass nails or worse, the Coke nail, it actually makes me feel nauseous and I kind of feel bad about it, but at the same time I don't because it's just so gross. Anyway, clothes. Clothes themselves are nice, but she leaves them sloppy / wrinkled. Body. Showers once a week tops. I'm not sensitive to smell, but my sister reeks and honestly makes me gag sometimes. It seems like Lily's going through something, especially if she didn't used to be like this, but all of a sudden kind of out of nowhere. And especially since moving back home, she's no longer taking care of herself. I feel like there's probably something deeper going on, I don't know. Let's keep going. Lily is upset because she says she can't get an in-person job in her field and wants to give up. Our parents have tried telling her that presentation / hygiene is as important as credentials when getting jobs, but my sister won't listen. Lily has a rocky relationship with our family, so she takes it as a personal attack rather than them trying to help. Lily is now blaming sexism and says men are all just intimidated by a competent woman and that that's the sole reason why she hasn't gotten a job. I mean, is she wrong? No lies were told, honestly. It's a tough job industry out there, okay? Sexism is alive and well. If she wants to lie to herself, it's her life. Whatever. What I can't stand is her trying to make it my problem and expect validation from me. Okay, this poster seems like an angel. Lily just did a bunch of interviews, but all went cold after and none panned out into jobs. She was venting to me last week about how companies in this field are all boys clubs and quick to shoot down a woman they know is intellectually above them. I was basically just like, good for you. Can I please finish my session in peace now? I mean, I get it though. When you have siblings, it's tough love. Lily got defensive and said she's just warning me, then doubled down by saying most men are selfish and I should save myself the headache now. She was saying this with my male friends on the voice call. Okay, time and place, girly. Probably not the best place. I had enough and told Lily that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason no job will hire her, so stop blaming others and think for 2 seconds. If you are a company owner who needs to impress investors to keep your own family afloat, would you want to be represented by someone who looks and smells like a homeless person? Okay. Yeah, I don't love the tone of this poster. First of all, just so you know, that's not really the best way to describe someone who's in that situation. I believe the best way to refer to them is, like an unhoused person, but attacking your sister in that way by comparing them to someone who is in that position, I feel like is a really inappropriate and low blow. We got into an argument and Lily is now either giving me one-word answers or not saying anything to me at all. I'll be honest that we argue a lot, but Lily normally would have gotten over it by now. Did I do the right thing by giving Lola a dose of reality, or did I f*** up here? I mean, even if it was the right thing to do, the way you went about it was definitely not the right way to do it. So I think, yeah, you did kind of f*** up there. Honestly, reading this makes me just kind of worried and concerned about Lily and the mental state that she's in, because all that I am seeing is really blaringly obvious signs that she is not mentally doing well. The fact she used to take care of her hygiene, but now she's had to move back home. She doesn't have a job. She's been applying to jobs and doing interviews constantly, but not hearing back from any of them. It seems like she's in a really sad and negative headspace, and this is just not like how she used to be. I mean, these are kind of telltale signs of someone who is going through a depressive episode, but maybe is a little bit more high functioning. Just because someone isn't in bed all day and that's the reason that they can't shower or brush their teeth or take care of themselves doesn't mean that they're not depressed. Depression can manifest in many different ways, but one of the most obvious ways is neglecting to take care of yourself. And who knows, maybe all the effort that she can really muster up right now is to put in applications to these jobs and go to interviews. Maybe she doesn't feel like she has the capacity to, take care of herself. I don't know. I do kind of recognize myself within Lily because anytime that I'm going through, like a really bad depressive episode, I tend to be more high functioning. So even though I'll, be at work and I'll be busy and doing all these big tasks, I will have piles of clothes on my bed for weeks and weeks, if not months on end. My room never gets cleaned, never exercise, eating like shit or eating nothing at all. Like my room will look like a depression hole, even though it doesn't look like I'm displaying the obvious signs of depression. That's just kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this post. And it seems like the family and whoever this poster is really not having as sympathetic of a perspective on the situation as they could have. And I think had they just approached her with a little bit more compassion and said like, hey, we want to check in and see if you're going through something. We notice that you're not really taking care of, your personal hygiene, your health, what's going on. Is there any way we can help? Like, I feel like if they just went about it in a much more compassionate way, rather than an argumentative way, an accusatory way, and by comparing your sister to an unhoused person, like that's pretty much the worst thing that you can possibly do. And I don't know, if this is the family dynamics that are present within Lily's home, I can kind of understand why Lily is responding to it in the way that she does. That being said, as a skincare girly, someone not taking care of their personal hygiene is one of my personal biggest icks ever, and it's definitely a huge turnoff for me. So I can understand how it would be draining being around someone like that all the time, but I feel like a little bit more compassion and empathy is warranted instead of degrading comparisons. So that's my take on it. But do you guys agree or disagree with any of my takes in this video? Please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what your opinion is. If you think I'm totally off base, I want to hear about it. I feel like this video was like the least black and white video that I've done so far. So if you guys want to see more videos like this where I react to Am I the Asshole stories, please let me know by leaving a comment down below. I would love to keep doing these because I have a great time yapping, truthfully. And if you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.